Hey, so I recorded a thumbnail contest for this video, and I forgot to put in the details last second. That's why this looks kind of sloppy. These are the honorable mentions. They're the only two other people that entered. It was a small contest this time, I guess. The winner, they didn't give me any way to credit them. So, winner, if you're watching this, please email me so I can credit you in the description. Anyway, enjoy the video!
Yoo-hoo! Excuse me, can I come in this way, or do I have to break my own window?
Spider-Man! That's the Rhino, right? That's the Rhino! Oh, whoa! They redesigned him! They've redesigned Rhino. He's like a bigger guy now. Oh, no, he's dead.
Brennan, I really think that you're taking the Spider-Man thing a little too far, son. Seriously. Seriously.
A long time ago, in the year 2002, there was a small 4-year-old kid. He got bullied a lot, got in trouble, was kind of a nerd, and there was this one movie that really made him feel like he wasn't alone, and that movie was Spider-Man. And then, as time went on, more of those movies came out. Spider-Man 2 was always his favorite. He still likes that movie to this day. He grew up with this character. He grew to appreciate the morals and relate to his struggles. And that kid was me. But now I want to pose a question. Recently, if you follow me on Twitter, you're probably aware that I won't shut up about Spider-Man. So now, I want to pose the question and answer it in this same video. Why does Spider-Man matter to me? How's it going, guys? It's Nice Guy McFly here, and welcome back to the future. Today, you obviously know what we're talking about because we already said it in the intro, so let's just get that out of the way. Today we're going to be talking about Spider-Man, obviously. And why the character of Spider-Man matters to me so much. You know why we're going to be doing that, huh? You know why? It's because most of my videos are either embarrassing stories or self-deprecation, in a way. I will, however, say I've gotten more confident. Probably not as bad with women now, which, ladies, I'm single. But that's enough about that. Let's talk about the Spider-Man. Spider-Man was created in the 1960s by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, and if you haven't read the 60s books, I highly recommend it. They're cheesy because they're from the 60s, but they're good. They understand the struggle of something that a normal guy with superpowers would have to deal with, specifically someone who's still in school. What I find funny about Spider-Man, and always have, is that people like to think of him as a kid, but he graduated in issue 28. He hasn't been a kid for a really long time in the comics. Now, that's probably because, like me, kids usually get introduced to Spider-Man. That's usually one of the first superheroes that they get introduced to, and it's not surprising why. But what makes Spider-Man such an endearing character to people? Well, for one, he's extremely relatable. I mean, I relate to his struggle. He's a poor kid from Queens. Now, I'm not from Queens, but to say that I'm not monetarily challenged, well, that would just be kind of a lie, because I don't have that much money. So when Peter gets things like eviction notices for his apartment, or he has trouble finding a job, or anything like that, yeah, I relate to that. I relate to that a lot. Or how he has trouble with whamming, I relate to that too. There's a lot of things about the character that people just flat out love and relate to, and just it's hard to talk about it without just saying he's relatable. I don't really know how to put it beyond that. He's just a purely relatable character. I mean, hey, fun fact. Spider-Man's a Protestant Christian. Bet you didn't know that. If anything, that just makes me relate to him more. What, you thought the whole Christian Channel thing was a joke? How dare you? But why, all of the sudden, has my love for Spider-Man finally, reawakened and shown up again? And I realize, hey, I remember why this guy's my favorite superhero. I remember why I always cared about the character so much and always aspired to be greater like him. Well, there was a game released recently by Insomniac, and that's why. You've got Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker and Spider-Man in the new game. And what do I think about that? Absolutely great! 10 out of 10! Oh, it's so good. He does such a good freaking job of capturing both of the characters' personalities extremely well, and there's even a slight difference in his voice between personas. Peter Parker is a little bit more timid in the way that he speaks. He's a little bit more quiet and kind of awkward. And then Spidey sounds like more brash, kind of like he's trying to be a tough guy. There's a little bit more roughness in his voice, if that makes any sense. And as attention to detail, when you're playing the game, there's two versions of voice lines. One where he's resting, like just sitting on a rooftop or just standing around. And one when he's running or web swinging or fighting, where he sounds like he's exerting himself. That is so freaking cool. And we can't talk about the game without talking about, you know it. Oh my god, the web swinging! The web swinging is the best thing in this game! Oh, I will come home from work or wherever, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm bored, or I'm stressed out, or I just want to have a good time. I'm going to go into Spider-Man. I'm going to jump off a building. I'm going to press that R2 button, and I'm going to be like, oh, you see that? You see that? I just shot a web out of my hand, and now I'm swinging across New York City, baby. Also, if you really can't tell how excited I am about this, I recorded my initial reaction to web swinging, like when I did it for the first time. Yes!
SWAT is 1084 at Fisk Tower. All units stand by. Warrant is en route.
Yes! Woohoo! This is amazing! Yes! It's one of the biggest strengths of the game, and it really makes you... Wait for it. Feel like Spider-Man. We couldn't go the full video without saying it. We couldn't do it. I'm sorry, Donkey. I did it for a joke. Please forgive me. The combat, too, is like... You see that? You see what I just did to that guy? That's awesome. I'm gonna do that to another guy. Story. Oh, I'm not gonna talk about it because I don't want to spoil anything, but it's freaking good. It's good. You know Brand New Day? It's that, but it doesn't suck. Except it's not really that. It's kind of like the opposite. That's a bad example. Never mind. There's a One More Day. I don't remember. I don't like Dan Slott's run. And trust me, I was worried about the story of this game. Because when I heard Dan Slott was in it, this is what popped into my head.
No. I am the
writer.
Not true. That's impossible. Search your feelings. You know it to be true. No! No!
You know, that's terrifying. You know, I know some of you are like, oh, he's not that bad. Superior Spider-Man was okay. No, it wasn't. Don't kid yourself. Don't fool yourself. You're lying to yourself. You need to stop doing that. He had Doc Ock try to rape Mary Jane. Kidding me? That's not a good run. What about Silk? Guys, I got a great idea for a character. Let's make an Asian Spider-Girl. Let's give her and Peter matching pheromones so they try to bang all the time. And then we won't take it out of the canon. It's canon. I just want JMS back. But now... we've been goofy this entire video, and in a way I've been kind of missing the point just because I'm purely hyperactive and jumpy and happy that I get to make a video about Spider-Man, but really there's a lot of reasons why this character truly does matter to me. For one, he's the most relatable character that I've ever had the chance of reading about or watching on a TV screen or playing a video game of. Like, period. I relate a lot to Peter Parker's struggles. When I read the old Lee and Ditko books and see him just wanting to go off on Flash Thompson because Flash doesn't understand him, I related to that. Because when I was in school, I was kind of the loser that no one wanted to be around. I had a group of friends, but we weren't exactly the popular kids. Looking back now, I never wanted it to ever be different, because I never wanted to be forgotten for just blending in with everybody else. I'd rather be remembered for sticking out. But it was still hard, always having to deal with people making fun of you or saying you were worthless. And I found some refuge in knowing that my favorite superhero had to deal with the same problems. And even now, I relate to him too, as an adult, having troubles with jobs and money and people still doubting him and thinking he's not all that great. And I relate to how much Peter feels guilty for the things he couldn't fix, for the people he couldn't save, or the mistakes he's made. And most of all, I relate to his self-doubt. There's this brilliant trailer that came out on launch day of the game called the Be Greater trailer. And this trailer is my favorite promotional material for anything Spider-Man ever. Because it gets it. It understands the character in 1 minute and 31 seconds, where some 2-hour-long movies can sometimes not even get the character close to right. The way Peter's self-doubts are reflected as his villains as he gets beaten down, just wanting to give up and quit. I related to that. But then the small voice of Aunt May, while not really what I experienced because I don't have an Aunt May, saying get up, and he fights through it. Well, that's one of the most relatable things I could ever see from my favorite character, because I've been there. I think the reason Spider-Man matters so much to me is because I see myself in Peter Parker. But I think we all do. And in a way, Peter Parker is us. But Spider-Man is the one that makes us want to be greater.